All right, so welcome back to the Beast Game podcast, and we're talking about all of the announcements, mostly the Marvel stuff from San Diego Comic Con, which this is the first kind of full swing Comic Con since COVID started. One of the things that they brought up was basically just about the future movies that there's going to be a Phase 5 and 6. I think Phase 5 starts next year. One thing that's coming out this year is Black Panther Wakanda Forever, then Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania, then Secret Invasion, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, The Marvels, Echo, Loki Season 2, Ironheart, Agatha Coven of Chaos, Captain America New World Order, which hopefully that might be good. The kind of reprisal of Daredevil, Matt Murdock, same actor,
Is that a movie or is that a TV show?
TV show. I think
It's
Mike
gonna be
mentioned
18
Yeah,
episodes.
Daredevil will be a series and it's 18 episodes.
Wow.
yeah, and
I
also
wonder why they chose 18. Well, because it's proven.
it's probably gonna be split into 2 seasons. That's what I'm thinking. It's probably gonna be 9 episodes split into 2 seasons.
Probably have She-Hulk in it.
Jessica Jones is back. They already confirmed that.
Is it Kristen Ritter?
Yeah, she should be popping up, and She-Hulk is what I've heard.
Yeah, Daredevil is in the She-Hulk trailer.
That would make sense because they're both lawyers.
So what about Luke Cage? No.
The Netflix Luke Cage does not fit into the wholesome approach that Disney likes to put forth.
Yeah, he can't talk about coffee, right?
Just him being a sex symbol type thing. Like that's not Disney's focus, which is what is one of the things that I'm a little concerned about. And we've been talking about it before. Phase 6 includes Fantastic Four, Avengers the King Dynasty, and then Avengers Secret Wars. And I assume there's probably going to be some other TV show stuff sprinkled in there. Maybe the X-Men also. But
X-Men 97.
I don't know. I guess we'll start with Black Panther. Since they had a trailer, I'll just put this out of the way. Disney likes to shove the fact that they have princesses down your throat. And that's what's going to happen with this movie. They should just recast T'Challa.
Well, the only way that they could get away with this, in all honesty, is if the story's being told during the blip. That within those 5 years, or how many years it was from the snap till they came back. That's the only way they could get away with this. Only way. And even then, that's debatable because obviously it's Shuri that has the mantle for their 5 year period. She's not convincing to me. She's like another Captain Marvel. Not convincing at all.
Oh, it's like Miss Marvel.
Well, I didn't watch
Well,
that,
apparently
so.
Miss Marvel was like the highest rated TV show on
That's
Disney
a
Plus.
lie.
Ms. Marvel is better than some stuff I've seen. I will say that.
You watch
Give me an
it?
example.
Yeah, I did. Like, if you thought Hawkeye was decent, then Ms. Marvel's about on the same level, if not a little bit better.
Oh, hold on.
That reminds me of That's So Raven.
Same level as what now?
Hawkeye.
Hawkeye.
Oh, okay. Well,
Does it get better after the first episode?
Yeah.
It was okay.
I never watched any of it. Didn't they change her powers or some shit?
Yeah, they did.
Oh no, I mean I would say this: the trailer was a decent enough trailer. It had beautiful visuals, and it really didn't give away nothing, but it didn't give me hype. It
Man.
seemed like it was just one big memorial piece.
Well, man, I assume they're trying to hold back the fact that there's either CG or not CG T'Challa, or like you said, maybe that this happens during the blip and
Namor doesn't seem very.
I said, man's been talking about Namor for like 4 years. Go
He
ahead.
doesn't seem very intimidating. I mean, this dude is supposed to be like pretty amazing, at least in the comic books anyway.
Well, again, issues with this phase is kind of what I brought up earlier, that somehow, some way, Disney will destroy everything about Namor, or everything that Matt likes about Namor, because Matt's been talking about Namor for 4 years. And
Hey, I mean, they've been hinting him since what? One of the earlier movies?
See,
I know Endgame they made a reference to the earthquake under Wakanda,
But
Mhm.
even
like in the
before
water or
then, when they were
something.
going over like the files,
Mike also mentioned this during one of the podcasts that Disney has a villain problem. So I assume that Namor will just say, "My bad, everybody," and they'll all be friends at the end of the movie.
Thing is, Namor is kind of like an anti-hero.
Disney can't commit to having someone just be pure villain in the movie. It's just a formula problem that Disney has been cranking out this formula for this particular phase. Even if you look at all the other phases, all the movies that you really care about, regardless of which phase it is, having all these movies being developed prior to 2016, 2017, prior to the Great Wokeness Awakening, that structurally those movies work. And then when the Wokeness Awakening happens, you see in Star Wars and some of the later movies from Marvel, they destroy everything that you want out of a movie. So I assume, at least with Black Panther, we're not getting what we want. As James said, I'm probably going to just skip it.
I'm not saying I won't see it, but I'm not going to go out my way.
And Keith, you have any comments about Black Panther?
Black Panther, I'll watch it just to satisfy my curiosity as to what they're going to do with it. Stayed away from spoilers and all that other stuff. And you hear one rumor and you're like, oh, that's a good take on this. And then you hear a second one, you're like, everything kind of pointing the other way. Right now, the one thing that'll get me to just get up and walk out is if Shuri as Black Panther. I'm just going to go like, no.
Well, you just will not go see it, man.
Again,
Yeah, it's gonna happen.
Disney is a company that has made billions off of giving you princesses.
So here's the problem with that is that the actress is actually kind of anti-woke, so she's not in line with what.
Well,
Disney and that-
Lupita is available. Technically, she's a queen, so
I wouldn't cry foul with that. So I mean, personally, like, granted, they made this emotional decision, and I think I mentioned it before. It was at the time, it was a very emotional moment. I mean, Chadwick Boseman losing him and everything, and it was almost unilaterally agreed. You can't recast him. It's a couple years later, and it's like you can't fall in the trap. And I've talked about this before, that Marvel's done the exact opposite of what DC and Warner Brothers has done. Stamp their actors' faces and images as the character, as opposed to the characters.
video
their
games,
properties.
toys, all of that stuff.
Exactly. It's like you can't see anyone as Wolverine. Robert Downey Jr. is Iron Man. You can't see anyone else in that role as Iron Man. Put themselves in the corner with that by not breaking the mold and going ahead and recasting the character. I'll watch it just to see what's going to happen. I mean, I like Ryan Coogler as a director. I enjoyed the first Black Panther movie, so I'll watch it. It's going to be rough because if they do what I fear that they're going to do, it's just going to be a mass walkout.
All right. Moving on from Black Panther, we get into Phase 5 because Phase 4 was an abject failure. Phase 3 had a ton of movies, like almost double what Phase 4 was. So Phase 3 was Captain America Civil War, Doctor Strange, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, Spider-Man Homecoming, Thor Ragnarok, Black Panther, Infinity War, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Captain Marvel Endgame, Spider-Man Far From Home. Some bangers in there. Out of the movie stuff, and I think this is where Disney's going to start to go wrong. You have that split between films and TV. So Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania.
Probably do about as well as the other Ant-Man movies.
That second one is bad.
Yeah, I was not super impressed with that one.
Any other comments about Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania?
I'll wait and see.
I think Evangeline Lilly is also in that context of chick that plays Shuri. I think they've both been vocal about certain things.
Evangeline, they pretty much wrote her out of the script for the most part. She's not going to be in this a whole lot. So apparently they showed it's either a trailer or footage of Ant-Man at Comic-Con, but Marvel hasn't released it yet. But they
still
said
working
that
on VFX. Go ahead.
Yeah, they said it was better than a lot of other stuff. That you definitely know Kang is who they're going with for the time being. It's kind of like the bad guy. But they said that delves way deeper into the quantum realm. It's not what you think it is based off Endgame and all that. There's a whole lot more to it is what they were trying to get across.
You mean like Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness and you only get part of the multiverse?
This is supposed to be the multiverse phase. So they're supposed to delve into a whole lot of other stuff.
Okay. All right. Any other comments about Ant-Man?
I'm gonna reserve any comments until I see a trailer. But I mean, part 2 was trash, so I don't know. I don't have.
Thank you. Somebody has said it. Thank you.
Like, I liked it. I thought one as good as the first one, but enjoyable. It's
Well,
entertaining.
again, it kind of gets into my point about when Marvel made the cutoff from being good to being mediocre. But the next movie is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, which I assume would probably exclude Thor at this point. You have that directed by James Gunn again, so I assume it will be okay.
Yeah.
Considering
James
Suicide
Gunn.
Squad.
I think that'll be the highlight. There's not gonna be any
So
wokeness.
they showed footage of that too.
Is there?
Which of course I haven't been. Yeah, they showed the trailer.
Oh.
One dude said his first trailer ever made him cry. The other
Oh,
thing
okay.
was, you definitely know that this is the end because James Gunn said this is the last one, and they said
Of
that's
this era.
definitely the thing. No, he said this is it for Guardians. Period.
Probably because he's going to go back to working with Warner
Well, I think they're
Brothers.
getting rid of. Like, I think those actors are done with it, and
I know Batista wants to go.
yeah, he's
Well,
already
Yeah,
signed
but
off.
he said this was his last one. He was done.
Well, I think
and they also all said that if it ain't James Gunn, they're not doing it.
Yeah, and that was the big thing when James Gunn kind of had his gaffe and Disney overreacted, then screwed up this timeline for the movie. I think it was supposed to be in this phase 4, wasn't it, originally?
Yep.
Yeah, so Disney inadvertently fired James Gunn, and then the cast revolted, and then they rehired James Gunn. But in that part of where he was fired, he went to go work for Warner Brothers, and then Suicide Squad was a success. And it's like, oh, James Gunn still has it. So he's back for Guardians 3. We'll see where that goes. Next movie is The Marvels, which is...
Don't care about.
No, I'm not gonna watch it.
I didn't like the last Captain Marvel movie. Why would
I
I, watch
didn't like
this one?
Miss Marvel.
I didn't like the last Captain Marvel movie. I wasn't a fan of Ms. Marvel. Not too keen on rewatching the whole thing pick up again.
And I guess the big thing is just that this is a team-up movie because Brie Larson doesn't do well on her own trying to hold down a movie. I mean, she's not a commanding actress, so they have to mix it up a little bit. Next movie is a movie that I want the most, Blade. Make it happen, Disney. I want this out next year. It better be good. Otherwise, I'm
Next
going
year.
to
supposed to
This
be
is
next
next
year.
year.
Yep, 2023.
Yeah, next year. I hadn't started production yet.
Which
Late next year, I'm assuming?
which concerns me. So I assume this will likely either come out during October-ish, 2023,
Yeah. Probably.
Probably
Halloween.
introduce Ghost Rider.
This movie better be good. I mean, Wesley was already campaigning for him to be reintroduced as Blade, and Disney just kind of sidestepped him. You already had 2 good Blade movies. Blade 3 was trash.
Yeah, Blade is in November.
We're gonna see the the Black Knight, White Knight, Jon
Black
Snow.
Knight.
What is
the
it?
Black Knight.
Played by Jon Snow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next one is Captain America: New World Order, which I'm hopeful about that one.
No.
Dang, he just said no. He's like, no.
I don't know. Just,
I'm
After
hopeful
s-
for this one.
I don't know. What would they introduce though?
Anthony Mackie as Captain America.
Been knowing he's that, but what would they introduce new or propel the storyline?
I mean, another Hydra, I guess.
They need to start introducing the mutants and getting that behind it because,
Run
that's
out
a
ideas.
whole other. No, not just that. The mutants and the whole its impact. Humans spontaneously developing superpowers.
It's earth shattering.
Danced around that whole thing, the whole Sokovia Accords, where you get a handful of enhanced individuals popping up. Like, just imagine, like, you give birth to a kid and breathe fire and shit, like in 10 years, like the minute he hits puberty. That shit is fucked up. Fox's X-Men touched on it, but Singer didn't have the skill set to actually make it a real thing. I mean, it touched on a little bit. Every once in a while, they'll touch on it in the Fox movies. But this, and the way it is now, it's already been established. The world building has already been built. Introducing the mutants to this world and just having an inadvertent racism and stuff like that, just being, it's primed for that. Like, it feels like it's primed for that.
I mean, it
And
seemed like
X-Men-
just kind of with the way that the world is right now and the wokeness, that introducing the X-Men would play into all that.
it would play fantastically into it. You got everything. Mystique is your
Oh gosh.
the whole. You say, "Oh God, this seriously."
I mean, she does, but do we want to hit that in this movie?
And well, I mean, I guess the sad part was Disney had to play out with Dark Phoenix and also the New Mutants. I mean, Mike was like, the New Mutants is canceled. New Mutants come out. New Mutants canceled. New Mutants come out. And then it came out.
They had to put it out. They had to get it out there. So now that they introduced the multiverse, we can easily say, "Oh, that was just another universe that sucked."
No, dog.
That
I can't get that movie out of my mind. That movie's trash.
Which one?
Well, both of them.
They have an opportunity with that. They have an opportunity with the Fantastic Four. And it kind of feels like Feige's trying to draw shit out for whatever reason. It feels like he's trying to redo what they did with the first 3 phases of the MCU. I think it's developed beyond that point. There's no more teasing needed. The world's been built, massive franchises that literally shaped the Marvel universe. It's always shaped the Marvel universe, more so than Spider-Man, I think. Been X-Men and it's been Fantastic Four. I mean, shit, the minute Galactus pops in, shit's a wrap. It's done. Silver Surfer pops up and everything. It's all over with.
Hold all judgment until September. D23 is the big one. Disney basically told Feige, you save all the big stuff for our conference and all that.
Oh, I'm fine with
Comic-Con. And from what I understand, the rumor is there's supposed to be 8 other projects he never talked about that are supposed to be debuted at D23. So that's the one everybody's pointing to as you'll probably get X-Men, especially Fantastic Four, because they're getting ready to start
probably
production on
Silver
that
Surfer, maybe.
Yeah, that's
So
going
they
to
gotta
start.
announce
Yeah, it's supposed to start this year or like beginning of next year. Like I thought it was supposed to start real fucking soon. Like
Yeah, I think it's supposed to start this year.
yeah.
But the other thing was who they're going to get for a director because John Watts walked. So
Yeah, I can understand that, man. He's done 3 movies so far for Marvel. So
yeah, and they
you gotta
said
get
Marvel
burnt out
wants
with
him
that
to do Spider-Man 4, and that's probably why he was like, yeah, I'm too much.
I mean, they changed up Peter Parker, his life now. So I think John Watts just sees that as a good jumping off point.
Natural
And,
segue from the
yeah, it's just like, well, what else am I
fine.
going to do? Like, we already changed everything. And then Phase 7 would have Silver Surfer, probably another Adam Warlock movie if he's not in, well, I assume he's in Guardians.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I saw that picture of him. I'm like, Jesus. Goddamn.
Yeah,
like,
he looked jacked.
yeah, I'm like, Jesus Christ, dude. You got to like slow up, man. Come on now. Okay, watch your heart. But he's young, so fuck.
All right. Well, moving on to the next movie, which I guess is the Marvel equivalent to Suicide Squad, Thunderbolts, which
It has potential.
going with the TV stuff in that Phase 5, you have What If, Secret Invasion, Echo, Loki, Ironheart, Agatha,
Echo's
Covenant
trash.
Chaos, and Daredevil, which we kind of talked about earlier.
Agatha, like, what is the significance of her?
She's a witch from Scarlet Witch, the WandaVision show.
WandaVision. Yeah.
She's kind of.
Yeah, I mean, I know who she is, but what does she have to offer?
Are you trying to see what she does for the whole MCU type of thing?
Yes.
Or, I mean, if they're going into the whole cosmic, mystical side of things, especially with Blade coming on, then she would be a natural on the streets type of deal.
Moving on to Phase 6, which is fairly short. I guess Mike said that they'll be announcing some more stuff, so maybe this is because there are some TBA items in that, which could be X-Men, could be Silver Surfer, could be something. What we have is Fantastic Four, Avengers: The Kang Dynasty, which I assume might be a 2-parter, maybe.
I would say House of M, but more like see wins or whatever. I don't know.
And
go ahead, dude. I'm
and
sorry.
then also Secret Wars. But I sent the article saying that the Russos might not be directing the Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars, which is concerning.
They said they're not, but Secret Wars was the one that they said if they did come back, that's the one they wanted to do. That was their dream project. So
All right.
I don't know if this is supposed to be misdirection or something or what. But
They've delivered on a lot of the movies that, again, from those previous phases, like everything that are the movies that you like, or the movies that set up or created this Marvel juggernaut, they are responsible for some of them. I don't really see Marvel recreating that same success from those first 3 phases. I mean, you see how Phase 4 just kind of came with a whimper. some of it just comes from a writing standpoint. Again, for those movies, they were likely developed, script written before time of the Great Awakening.
One thought I had was that I think really it was Chadwick Boseman's passing that I think really rocked the cart. The second Black Panther film type of thing, leading the Avengers moving forward, being the one to kind of reform. Like Black Panther was always I don't say always, but traditionally Black Panther was the guy who was Dr. Doom, Namor, Reed Richards dealt with the more worldly things, whereas the Avengers was strictly speaking kind of a U.S., an American force that, later on dealt with more global matters, but strictly they were aligned with American interests. T'Challa and the rest of the guys, they were all dealing with worldly stuff, and none of that dealing with matters that involve sovereignty in other countries. Definitely, especially with the popularity, because they hit a home run with Chadwick coming on board as Black Panther. He was it. Like, he had everything. He was charismatic. He could act. At the time, young enough that he could carry the MCU when Robert Downey Jr. left. And while I'm not going to say carry as in terms of emulate style and everything, but been the one that was like, oh yeah, definitely. There's no Steve Rogers, there's no Captain America, no more Thor. Thor's off doing whatever he wants to do, being a space.
He's doing splits.
He's being a space dad and whatever. But T'Challa on Earth, and he's the guy that people are going to go to for to resolve stuff, and they just didn't know how to course correct from that. Thoughts on that?
I mean, I would say between that and COVID,
yes,
because he died during COVID, so a lot of that stuff got delayed. But still don't think, from a writing standpoint, that they had additional time to develop some of these Phase 4 movies, and we see how these movies came out. Aside from a couple exceptions, they're not movies that you would want to revisit continuously. If it's on TNT or TBS or Fox, FX or something like that, well, Avengers is on. You'll watch that, but you're not going to go say Black Widow is on. Let me just sit down and watch this even through commercial breaks. Like, you're not going to do that. So, again, I just think from a writing standpoint, Black Panther would likely be affected by whatever happened with this particular phase, and then future phases. Writing has changed, and the approach to storytelling has changed because it's a Disney thing. I don't think they can break it.
Oh, I think I see what you're saying. It's like Disney's.
They're locked into, here's the formula. Regardless of what that movie is, you have these characters, they have to fit into the formula.
Right.
So if you're talking about Black Panther will be another formula movie. You'll see those hallmarks that have been in every other Disney movie, whether it be Star Wars and or Marvel and or Disney's mainline movies. It'll still be there, and that's what concerns me about these future phases.
I got you. Okay, I see what you're
So
saying.
again, like I was talking about, phase 1 to 3. Again, those core movies like Captain America: Winter Soldier, Anthony and Joe Russo. Captain America: Civil War, Anthony and Joe Russo. Infinity War, Anthony and Joe Russo. Again, you had people that were willing to take risks, maybe stand up to Marvel in some aspects to deliver the type of movie that they want. But now, the way that Marvel is structuring some of these movies, the directors fall in line with what Disney wants.
I don't know if I agree 100% with you. I've seen the Russo brothers' latest film, and not to go into spoilers or anything like that. I keep saying in Feige I trust.
Well, in Feige, you can also trust Phase 4.
9 times out of 10, Feige has delivered. The directors, you can see their stamp. There is that. It may not be to everyone's liking. However, the Russo brothers' latest outing, it was missing a lot of things. I had issues with it. It definitely was not on par with anything they've done for the Marvel. I'm talking even Winter Soldier, cinematic storytelling. When they put all that together, and then to come to something that's very similar in tone to that, I didn't get it. I didn't see it. I was like, okay, somebody else was the magic behind a lot of the Russo's work here.
That Gray Man movie is getting panned.
Am I the only one to watch the Gray Man? I don't want to sit there and
No, I watched it.
If I'm off base here, in my opinion, then again.
Well, some of that is just Netflix puts out a lot of trash.
Is the studio that is influencing these movies to that point? And if so, then I agree with you, Barry, that it's definitely, it seems like Disney has undue influence on the current crop, and they need to back the fuck off.
Well, I
But
mean,
at the same
I
time,
think Netflix also falls into that same category.
Was it good?
action was very good. As a B movie, I would rate it highly.
It was that Chris Hemsworth movie that was okay.
Traction.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Extraction.
Extraction was good.
Yeah, I like
Extraction
that.
was good.
Disney Marvel alum, that the person that was the stunt double for Chris Evans through most of the Captain America stuff that directed that movie.
It was good. Gray Man has some excellent action scenes. I had problems with the storytelling. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I would recommend it for any action fan.
All right. Well, closing out some of this Marvel discussion, again, with the first three phases, there was a lot of hope. I mean, where you saw a lot of Easter eggs, you saw these threads that they were building. And I kind of liken it to Mortal Kombat 1, Mortal Kombat 2, where people were talking about they saw whatever fatality at the arcade. Fatality never existed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're just lying. It's like, yo, they're going to be doing this. That's kind of how those first three phases were, where there was like, could see the possibilities. And then it culminated in greatness. And then what followed after that greatness is the valley of nothingness.
I mean, well, it lived up to the hype that was being generated.
I mean, you can't excuse phase 4. I think some of it has to do with Disney Plus. Disney needs to generate content. And maybe there's some brain drain going on in Marvel. Kevin Feige was only focused on one TV show, which was Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., kind of, and then all the movie stuff. And now there's more TV shows in this next phase than they had in this, well, I guess the previous phase.
That's a fair thing. I mean, I disagree that phase 4 was a total wash. I will not defend it. I'm not going to defend it. All right. So don't, but I disagree that it's a total waste.
Keith has Black Widow on repeat.
I'm not going to say that they have not made some very clear missteps.
Well, they made missteps on the previous phases, but it wasn't consistent.
I see what you're saying. I mean, the wokeness is definitely out of control, and I'm hoping that getting less popular now. Like,
well, I see it as another problem because again, I talk about the writing and how writing changed kind of from 2016 on. Everything just kind of switched to social justice, diversity, inclusion, equity, and then all that is permeated into every movie. Again, most of those Marvel movies are already developed prior to that awakening period. This is what you get full swing. Captain Marvel is one of those beneficiaries of that style of writing. Blatant, where you have to just basically make personal statements in a movie. The racist moment in every movie. It's just like, oh, that was pretty apparent in Captain Marvel. It's like, well, you'll never be anything. You'll never be. I'm like, what does this have to do with the movie? Made it integral to everything in the movie. That's just my concern. My concern is writing and the direction of writing. Disney has a pre-printed formula. You're using their characters and their formula, and you have to stay within the bounds.
Mm-hmm.
So if you look at James Gunn got fired for making a joke that was not approved by Disney.
An old tweet that someone found that basically was good,
Yeah,
so.
that's kind of what I see. Any other comments about the Marvel stuff?
And Feige, I trust.
Big Mike, is that your same sentiment?
Yeah, it is. Man, I like it, i.e. Thor. But I'll hold judgment till I see where this goes. Secret Invasion, Secret Wars should be pretty monumental, but that's it. Depends on how they do it. Wait till D23. That's literally what I'm waiting for, because it depends on what they announce there. If you don't get an X-Men or Fantastic Four announcement or like casting or anything, then I have real concerns.
Well,
How do you guys feel about phase 4?
Phase 4 is trash.
In terms of quality, I think it's about among the first phase 1.
I
No.
think it has absolutely no direction.
All right, so let's look at phase 1. Phase 1 was Iron Man, the Incredible Hulk, technically.
Yes. Incredible.
Iron Man 2,
Building the core characters.
Thor, Captain America, the Avengers.
Mhm.
So out of that, I would consider Iron Man 2 to be a misstep. Thor is okay, but however you feel about the Incredible Hulk. But Then looking at phase 2, definitely missed up with Iron Man 3. Definitely missed up with Thor: The Dark World. Captain America: Winter Soldier. All agree that is a good movie.
Yes.
Guardians, Avengers: The Age of Ultron, which has not aged well.
No,
And-
it did not.
No.
The previous MCU president was fucking with him. So
Yeah, and there's also He Who Shall Not Be Named, Joss Whedon, canceled.
And yet you name him.
I know. I did it intentionally. And Ant-Man.
Mhm.
Ant-Man 1 was okay. As I mentioned earlier, phase 3, coming with the hits. Captain America: Civil War. Banger.
Yeah, amazing.
Doctor Strange. Okay. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Banger. Spider-Man: Homecoming. Banger. Thor: Ragnarok. Banger. Black Panther. Bad CG, but good movie overall. Avengers: Infinity War. Triple platinum.
you couldn't have had any of those without those. First was like
I understand that. Let me finish. Ant-Man and the Wasp. Trash. Captain Marvel. Trash. Avengers: Endgame. It went diamond. And Spider-Man: Far From Home. Okay. But you definitely had the hits there. It's difficult to see them repeating that same success. I mean, we saw how Taika Waititi did on his second try with the movie.
Oh gosh, that was such a horrible movie.
You've seen that.
in phase 4, there's a lot of additional world building. They're introducing the multiverse, introducing the cosmic storyline. And I think part of that issue is that they're introducing two things that are not necessarily aligned.
Any other thing that was kind of important from Comic-Con overall?
Cavill, it was rumored that he's supposed to show up and announce the next Superman movie, and that didn't happen. It was basically the Rock show with Black Adam and Shazam. That was about it.
That Shazam
from
trailer
DC.
did not look good.
Shazam looked horrible.
I will just say, can we just hands down say the best trailer of the entire weekend? It's hands down John Wick.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
didn't
yeah.
see it, so
Jay, you are missing a masterpiece. Brother, I'm trying to tell you. I cannot wait for March.
I mean, John Wick, second one, I love that movie.
Film 2 of them back to back.
I don't know if they filmed both of them back to back, but it is supposed to be a 4 and 5.
I mean, John Wick 2, great movie. Great. I mean, Common is on duty in that movie. I hope he comes back.
he's dead, man.
We don't know.
No,
He was on the A Train, man. Like,
but he was good. It would have been nice to have him around as like a rival.
never know. He might be
Assistant
back.
rival.
Might come back as a cyborg, like RoboCop.
What? At that point, that's when the John Wick franchise is dead.
Jump the shark. Yeah. Keanu Reeves is kind of like at that Tom Cruise level right now, in that he gets to make the movies he wants to make, and they're generally good, except for Matrix.
I think he did that just for fans, man. In all honesty.
Trash movie, yeah. Trash movie.